This man's name is Jesse. A guy who's really into the outdoors. To experience a different kind of living environment, he goes into the deep mountains every week, living alone for a while. After 2.5 hours in the forest, Jesse finally made it to the screen land. When I found out it was a good place to stay, I immediately started cleaning up and decided to turn it into a shelter. If you want to live well, there is no shortage of wood. Just little by little fix it into the desired form. It can be carried back. It's a little impolite to say that, but maybe people don't care. Back to the real thing, because there was already a big tree that squeezed across the frame. So just build it according to the pattern, as long as it keeps the height of the two sides balanced. Then Jesse goes and collects 10 more materials. This process looks simple, but it's really hard. When you gather enough wood, you cut it into pieces to make a wall, put them in order, and sit down and eat something. The energy is about to run out. I haven't eaten yet, but think of yesterday's forecast saying today there will be heavy rain. Jesse was forced to speed up construction. If it rains and there is no shelter, there is trouble. The first priority is to finish the roof. It's really necessary right now. Even if you look at it, it doesn't work, but later, there will be other materials. Don't think these logs are small and light. It's actually very heavy. To avoid collapsing at night, Jesse put up a pole. Believe that in 2.5 years it won't break. The thunder boomed, signaling that heavy rain was coming. It is important to quickly complete the roof. You just need to brush the collected pine leaves on the roof. You can temporarily avoid the rain, but the roof is not good. So the rain slowly seeping in. Jesse is forced to continue upgrading and finishing the tent. The cold rain makes it difficult for the body to retain heat. The most important thing right now is to be quick. Light a fire to avoid rapid hypothermia. But fire alone is not enough. Now I have to cook a new pot of boiling water. It's perfect. If you don't like drinking water, you can add some fresh green pine leaves. Suddenly it was dark. Jessie now rewards herself with a third. Just grilled charcoal with big sausage. Life is simple but incredibly beautiful. After more than 2 minutes of cooking, I finally ate. After eating, sip another cup of tea. Life is not very pleasant. It makes me no longer jealous. Finished eating and drinking. The construction of the tent is completed today. Jessie wished everyone good night for the next day. Maybe I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up and made myself a cup. Bitter coffee looks through the eyes. Doll, I'm sure you haven't forgotten your passion for stream fishing. Because of the heavy rain yesterday, Jessie couldn't get out of the stream. Otherwise, you would have enjoyed the natural grouper. It's just that you have a bad habit. The little fish I didn't even look at. Only big fish can be caught. I caught a pretty big one today. But it's about to rain. You have to fish quickly, clean up and prepare to return, or the rising water cannot escape. Fortunately, it didn't rain on the way home. When the fish is fresh, he hastily lit a fire to cook a hearty lunch. Life like this is really fun. Fortunately, it will be difficult to return a little later. After more than 2 minutes of frying, crispy yellow grouper outside, soft sweet inside. It's done. It's the same cake that the previous owner made. Eat a piece of it happily. After dinner, Jessie decided to close her eyes. Closing 2 days is not perfect. The guy who disappeared was Jesse. The reason you're missing, for so long I was sick in the hospital. To a fairly large area of land. You quickly unpack, hang it up and get your hands on the zoning. We need to build a camp, because right now, Siberia is in a prolonged state of freezing. If you don't build a shelter soon, it's hard to survive. Fortunately, Jesse's health is fine. It took just over 2 minutes to clear the ground. They're flat. Then the next thing is to collect the building materials. Thanks to the forest where many dry trees fell. So getting 10 is pretty good. When you get it done, start thinking about building it. Jessie is not big, but she has a lot of strength. Several rounds of travel have gathered enough material. You can get moss and clean the bark. Brush a fresh layer of moss to start pitching the tent. Because this time I'm going to build a bungalow. Fear that the wooden wall might collapse. So he's directly using small straight trees as a fixed point. Put more moss on it and keep planting wood on it. I have to say, Jessie's pretty smart. In a moment, you've built one side of the wall. Then just do the same. Is to be able to quickly complete the second wall. But to increase the solidity of the shelter, I decided to stay fixed. There's a plank between the two walls, so that I don't worry about the walls wobbling in the future. When the wall was finished, the snow began to fall. Siberian weather has changed dramatically. After about 2.5 hours, the heavy snow made the forest white. Fortunately, the snow didn't last very long. Jessie continued to build shelter. Soon enough, I finished the back wall, and can sit down and have a sip of water to rest. After a short time, I started working again. Most of the wall is finished, so now I've built a big bed. You just need to line up the little trees. 10. The bed is comfortable. Considered complete. However, to be able to sleep peacefully in the shelter, you still need to collect 10 more stones because the bottom of the wall is still empty. To avoid little creatures getting into Jesse at night, decided to fill the void with stones. This way of doing it just stops the little animals. It also increases heat retention. After the work is done, I even put a tree above the door, in and out, to prepare the door and continue to finish the wall. The roof is not in a hurry. Maybe it's only the AI that's ever lived in the wild. I know how hard it is to build a wooden door. To get these things done, I saw that the roof was too small, so I had to go down the mountain and buy a bigger canvas. This place is far from the city, so each trip back takes 1 to 2 days. If you start with a big enough canvas, maybe shelter. The hide was soon completed. Fortunately, I came back this time. The snow around the area has melted. Work is also much softer, but a roof is not enough, because then you have to cover it with soil and moss to keep it warm. So you're using little wooden blocks, and then shovel the soil and make the first layer of insulation. When the roof is covered, the soil continues to brush against a layer of moss. Fresh forest just makes the wooden house more beautiful, has increased the warming effect significantly. After completing these things, I started thinking about the smoke coming out, because the climate here is extremely cold. If there is no fire at night, it is difficult to bear. Solve the chimney problem. I also sawed a lot of small wooden panels to cover the floor, because the ground is wet. Otherwise, it's easy to get rheumatism when you're young, so he's using little wooden boards all over the floor. When most of the work is done, you go on, cover the gaps on both sides of the shelter. Make sure even the bone-chilling wind can't get in. But to be safer, I decided to use more. Forest moss covers the cracks. You keep putting moss in every gap to make sure there's no room in the wind. It can be said that peace of mind. When the whole shelter is complete, I found a lot of small stones, because it often snows. To avoid slippery entry and exit, I decided to pave a stone path. Then to increase aesthetics, I've decorated around the shelter with green moss carpet to make the scene even more beautiful. Finished decorating the wooden house. Jesse is out looking for food. Anyone who's been watching, you can guess. That's right, your favorite dish is fresh spring fish. I have to say, this place has a wonderful environment. I don't blame you for living in the wilderness like this. If I'm sure I want to stay long. Time goes by. Jesse also has a lot of success. Pack your bags and go back. On the way, wading through the stream. It looks dangerous, but it's extremely risky. Just being careless is life-threatening. Fortunately, you made it safely. After 2.5 hours of walking, I also returned to the shelter. I just got home and started working, because the fish have been processed on the west coast. We just need to build another kitchen. Outdoor fight is able to prepare cooking. There is a kitchen outside. It is also indispensable in the house, because it's so cold at night. You need a heater to keep you warm. After that, I started preparing dinner. Just put the fish, marinate on a hot stone to bake. Not long after, thanks to the red fire, in less than 2 minutes, the meal is ready. Sprinkle some lemon juice. Jesse ate while enjoying the delicious taste. After a full meal, you are also skillful. Outdoor charcoal into the house to maintain warmth. It's a pretty smart mind. When the fire in the fireplace burns violently, he went down to the foot of the mountain to draw a pot of spring water. I was a little thirsty and had to boil water to drink. It's just that the water boils at the same time. The night has covered the whole outside. You're lucky you brought a lighted candle. If there is no candle, then this dark night is really unbearable. Fortunately, a few sips of warm water, he immediately went into his sleeping bag and lay down. Blow out the candle and fall asleep. You see the guy walking in the blizzard. That's right, that's Jesse. The boy is loved by many people. There was a sudden snowstorm in Siberia, and Jesse loves this kind of weather. Without hesitation to go deep into the forest, we decided to set up camp here. I immediately hung BA, pack it up and start cleaning. Clear the thick snow on the ground to build a tent. The first task is to clean the soil. Flat. When the snow is clean, he took the tent and carried Theo raw and started to build the garment. Fortunately, setting up a tent is quite simple. Just fix the 2 ends of the roof with a rope. Just install the drum bolt on the ground. A tent, just covered the rain firmly, has been completed. Although the fragile appearance doesn't seem very useful, but don't worry, Jesse, it also carries a portable stove. Simply because the current temperature is minus 28 degrees. If you don't have this, I'm afraid I can't stand it the next day. After fixing the chimney, Jesse is going to collect 10 sticks. Because even though it's very thick, but outside, this long snow is hard to withstand. Tomorrow instead, the snow has only fallen for a few days, so most of the wood is still dry. I quickly gathered a little and cut it into neat pieces. I plan to stay here for a day or two. You need to prepare a lot of wood. Maybe it's because roommates don't have culture. I went and picked up some soft pine leaves and brushed them into the ground, then put more heat-retaining pads to be able to rest more comfortably. But of course you can't just lie there forever. It took a lot of effort to get here. If you stay still for a few hours, I'm afraid you won't survive. So in order to come back alive, I decided to go to the stream to find some protein-rich food. I believe that the AI that's been watching Jesse knows this guy's missing fish. Especially when the fish is done, it can't be done. It's not wrong to say that, because in 365 days, there's 350 days. You eat this fish, so it's right to say that you live without fish. But Jesse's not interested in small fish. I just like big ones. It's like a brand new product caught your eye, but forever. As many times as you change places, you're still full. Caught the fish. It's getting dark. Jesse had to keep waiting. Fortunately, after 2.5 hours of watching, but nothing was harvested, you come back too. The way back is quite far, so by the time I got back to camp, it was already dark. First thing back to the tent. It's the group at the fire. Sorry for not being able to fish, but Jesse was prepared. That's why it's okay to grill beef. I have to say that you've been very well prepared. Grilled beef. I put the water back on, cook and start enjoying dinner. Warm finished a delicious meal. Of course, you have to drink another glass of boiling water to warm your stomach after 2 sips of hot water. Jesse, into your sleeping bag and into a peaceful dream. It's already on day 2. The wild stream is still rustling. And when I woke up, I started a fire. Then you make yourself a cup of coffee. I couldn't find any fish to eat. So after a cup of coffee, you are not content to continue your journey. Start a new day on the snow. Even though I tried it in some places, it didn't work. But in the end, God doesn't care. I caught a fish a little bigger than yesterday. This time I'm no longer small. That immediately clean up. Because we have to leave before dark. It doesn't matter whether the fish is big or small, as long as you have fish to eat. After 2.5 hours of climbing, you also returned safely. Even if I have to leave, but you still have to eat this fish and go. Otherwise, this trip is meaningless. It's snowing outside, but it doesn't slow down your fire. The coal fire just caught fire. I quickly put the fish on the grill, while the fish are in the kitchen. He took advantage of cutting some more vegetables and put them in a pan. After the vegetables are ripe, he meticulously peels off the skin of the fish. Take the meat and put it in the pot. The rest of the bone is sprinkled with spices to enhance the flavor. After 2.5 minutes, the food is ready. I started to enjoy my last meal before leaving. The other one is Jesse. The boy is loved by everyone. Last time I chose a place where the snow wasn't thick enough, so I couldn't build the igloo as planned. We just built a small tent overnight. But this time it was luckier. Less than a week after you left. It's got a heavy snowstorm here. By the way, Jesse was on vacation. I was in a hurry to get my backpack back to a place of flat open ground. He hung up 3 batches and began to install the snow-free. I have to say that Jesse really knows where to go. The view here is picturesque. Anyone who loves snow can't resist. The snow is as thick as a giant tofu cube. Just look at it and like it. Time flies, the flat ground is gone. Instead there are mounds of snow, high as my little hill. I really like this place. No matter where you stand, you can see the stars. Ice streaks across the sky. It's unbelievable, isn't it? But it was so incredible that it surprised me. I can't believe this place is so beautiful. It's so beautiful that people have an urge. I want to live long here. After 2.5 hours, the snow fell. Jessie chooses to eat a little to replenish her energy. Even the snow is beautiful, but the cold is bone-chilling. After eating, the body is warmer. You continue to complete the unfinished business. Outside, the shelter has formed. To build inside the snow must be tight enough. Otherwise, in the process of digging, it is easy to collapse, so that the effort does not pour the river into the sea. You patiently take one step at a time. After compressing the snow for a while, the snow is firmer. You just need to adjust the appearance, is that we can start building inside. For this part, you use a chainsaw to open the road first, because the snow outside is hard. The normal tools can't do this meticulous work. When you open the entrance, Jessie immediately cleaned up the leftovers, then start digging deeper. Even though the shelter looks small, but digging here takes a long time, because the snow inside is so solid. It's not easy to make enough space for one person to live in. Fortunately, Jessie has incredible endurance. After 2.5 hours, I dug to the bottom. But inside the wall, the snow is ugly. So you're meticulously sharpening it to make it flatter. The snow from the peeling, it was used as a bed. The snow is soft to rest. Jessie is really smart. When the snow house was finished, he he went to collect dry wood because this time it wasn't in the tent. If there's no fire, it's hard to live through the night. I gathered some wood and cut it into small pieces. But the fireplace is quite small. The wood is difficult to remove, so I had to bring back a big piece of wood to cut. To add small. After processing the wood, Jesse quickly assembled the fireplace. Because the sun has set and it's getting dark. If you don't want to freeze, the most urgent thing right now is to start a fire. When the heater is finished, he immediately sets it on fire to keep it warm. It's so cold right now. Jessie had to put her hand out in front of the fireplace to get warm. You know how extreme the temperature is. When the body warms up a little, I'm going to collect 10 more dry pine leaves. Because if there's no lining, this heat is the next morning. Your body will definitely freeze. That's funny. But the bed is done. The next step is cooking. It's a cold night. If you don't have energy-rich food, you can sleep. Everywhere you get drunk, it gets cold. Wake up. Living in this environment is a challenge. If you don't add rich foods, calories are only needed. Fortunately, it's not too cold. I have to admit, Jesse's a very good cook. Just look at the rules and you are really skilled. While the food is cooking, he enlisted to get a kettle of spring water. You can make hot tea after dinner. It feels good to think. Thanks to the strong hearth fire, soon the beef pot, stewed potatoes and carrots fragrant. Eye-catching color is ready. It makes everyone look hungry. After enjoying a hearty dinner, Jesse also brewed a pot of pine leaf tea. To increase resistance to cold, make sure the temperature is low tonight. It doesn't hurt anywhere. Finished eating and drinking, I pulled back the snow. I cleaned during the day to cover the entrance, put another candle at the door, and a few by the bed. Both have light and create a pleasant warm space. I finally slipped into my sleeping bag and fell into a dream. The next day I saw Jesse. I've taken 3 lots out of the frozen mountains, because it's so cold. If you want to live a few more years, you have to leave. Down at the foot of the mountain, find an ideal place to build a new camp. This place seems like a place for you. Not say much. Jesse shook hands at the camp. Stretch the tent with ropes to the sapling. The short rope is connected by a belt. Then erect steel frame. Pull the tarpaulin fixed to a small tent. Quick finishing. Next you install the heater, because the temperature drops at night. If there is no fire, it is very unpleasant. When everything necessary is done, he combed his mattress and closed his eyes to rest. However, he did not sleep for long. His stomach fluttered, and everyone who knows Jesse knows he's a fisherman. There's always a fishing scene in your video. And Jesse is very technical. The little fish I don't bother to catch, because they are too small. It's not as good as big fish. So I'm determined to. They caught the big fish. Jesse, there's only one way to keep changing places to keep fishing, until I catch you. But maybe today's luck wasn't good. I walked along the river for 2.5 hours, and still don't have a grouper that's right. It's mostly small fish less than a pound. It's too late. I caught one and went back to camp. Just arrived at the tent. Jesse immediately picked up the stove because she was hungry. More fishing time was spent. I finished the oven, and then go and gather some dry wood to prepare for cooking. When the wood is ready, you start a fire. When the fire broke out, he handled the fish. Removal of broken bones. Cut the meat rolling through the flour. Shake well and wait for hot oil to fry. While waiting, I even packed some ripe potatoes and buried them in charcoal. Thanks to the big fire, the oil boils quickly, and soon the fish was crispy and fragrant. I have to say, Jesse's really good at cooking. Just look at it. After a full meal, I went to collect more wood because it was a cold evening. If the heater doesn't burn, it really can't stand it. You have a habit before you sleep. Drinking a glass of hot water helps keep you warm and helps you sleep better. To avoid moisture from the soil, Jesse even brushed the pine leaves under the tent floor. Where's everything arranged? The water is also boiling. I took a few sips, warmed up and zipped the tent into a warm sleeping bag and peacefully fall into a dream.